A lot of shit we do gonna have consequences, but we gotta be ready for them. Emergency, I just got out of surgery. I'm having problems with my heart and it won't work. I did some shit in my past and it's cursing me. I'ma stay right here for this toxic, God take breath from me. I'm sipping this Henny, this pain, but it ain't helping. If I let nigga going against the grain and that shit stressing me. I pray to God, let God have mercy. I'm living a crazy life. I just shot at a nigga for talking some shit on the game. He paid the price. I was young and the rest for the money. My hunger for paper saved my life. And I shit can say tonight. If you wanna lick shit, we can get rich, we can get paid tonight. Dollar bill, y'all. Everybody want the money, everybody want this shit. Everybody want the money, but don't wanna go down. You gonna do anything to get it, but where you gonna go after? Shit, gotta think about it. 187. Murder by hire. You killed a nigga, you don't know it. You gon' go to heaven. Gotta chop that shit over, Lord, real talk. Hey, fight my demon, fight my demon. So many demons. Me against these demons. Against these demons. Fight my demons, fight my demons. Fight it mine. It's me against these demons. Me against these demons. Whoa, I'm fighting these demons up in this ghost. I'm fighting these demons, I'm on the ropes. They came with a beam up under my coat. Get hit in the spleen if you want to smoke. That money be green, so niggas don't go. I'm looking so clean, I used to be broke. Remember they laughed at me and they choked. Gave them the ball, and nigga they choked. Tables turn, that nigga you roll. My little nigga don't follow no code. Follow no code. No code. My nigga follow me like the pole. I stand on my word and stand by the consequence. They say I'm heartless, thanks for the compliment. I see your dead homie, yell a comment. BMG gang, and bitch, we incompetent. Don't wanna hear that shit, I gotta kill that shit. Leave the military, I can get ignorant. We not considerate, niggas do silly shit. We get the drilling shit, guilty and innocent. Don't give a fuck about a bystander. I can pull up in the high land. Don't take no slam. Don't take no slam. Dollar bill, y'all.
Okay, we got the Galaxy jumping.
Everybody want the money,
look at that. TikTok Galaxy jumping over there on the Atlas, Energy of Atlas page. Make sure y'all go drop a subscription over there on TikTok. They trying to stop our operation. We just gonna move it. We live on 2 TikTok pages right now. Definitely live on 2 TikTok pages right now. Energy of Atlas. Hey, Power, what's going on with you? How's everybody doing out there? Lady Jane. Amina.
Fight my demons. Fight my demons.
Amina. Yeah, what's up? Love is love, man. Look at the family showing up. Don't we always show up? Don't we always show up? Love is love. We show up.
Living life encased in the idea that my evil thoughts go unpunished.
And we show out.
As I sort through the rubbish, my days of thugging get slow and rugged.
We gotta add logic and reason to all of this, okay? Love is love. How's everybody doing out there? I hope everybody is doing great. Hope everybody is feeling good, okay? We got to do some updates on this Jaguar stuff, man. It's getting kind of crazy over here on YouTube. Y'all make sure y'all go follow the United Stand page on TikTok or go follow the Energy of Atlas page. If you're going to become a subscriber, subscribe to Energy of Atlas 111 over on no, it's Energy of Atlas over on TikTok, okay? The 111 thing is over here on YouTube. I'm sorry. Energy of Atlas over there on TikTok. Make sure y'all go subscribe over there. We're live over there right now. So if you want to, go over there and, drop a subscription, that would be great. So that's how we're going to work this. We're not going to let them stop our operation. We're live on 2 pages on TikTok right now, 2 pages on YouTube right now, and we're live on Twitch. We do not let static stop us. We're not going to let static stop us, and neither should you, right? You should grow. You should know that you are great, right? We got some great things coming up for the YouTube pages. We're going to start allowing people from the Discord to utilize platforms a little bit more. So I want to be a help to other people. I want to know what it is that I can do that can help you, right? So with the Discord, we're going to start allowing people from the Discord to utilize some of the TikTok pages, so on and so forth. And also, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I heard most of it, part of it, I might have missed a little bit, but I think we have some people that are going to put together a story time every week for us that's wrapped around all of this madness. They did a presentation of it in the Discord today. It was great. It was excellent. Shout out to them two people. They know who they are. I don't really put too many people names out there because we know how this stuff works. People will start harassing you, so on and so forth. So, and that's why I say, that's why I tell all my sister wives, even though I know who you are, I don't know who you are. You get what I'm saying? Because that way nobody can say, well, who's your sister wife and who's this? Because then they don't know who to write. I don't know who the sister wife is. They just let me know when the number changed, right? That's all they do. They say, hey, it's 28 of us now. I say, okay, that's great. And that's it. They don't let me know who they are. I don't know who they are. I just know a number, and that's all I need to know. When more people get added to the collection, that's all they telling me is, hey, we got two more. Sometimes I meet the two more, sometimes I don't meet the two more. Hell, for all we know, you know, it could be a buttload of them. Some of them might have left. They didn't tell me. They don't never tell me when the number go down. The number might go down sometimes too. I think we had the number go down one time. We lost like two sister wives. We found out they were, you know, we found out they were spies and stuff. Found out they were spies and stuff. We lost a couple. We lost a couple. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the TikTok page. We are on the multiple pages right now. We are multi-dimensional, so why not operate multi-platforms, right? This is one thing they don't like about me over here is the fact that I have the ability to adapt to other platforms, right? I'm not just one persona, just stay in one idea. This goes back, you know what I mean? Hey, shout out to all the brother husbands too, man. Shout out to the brother husbands. We anonymous. Shh. Power. Shh. Shh. We don't ever get credit. We just give them all the credit, okay? Power. We just give it to all the sister wives. We just give it RC. We just give it to all the sister wives. RC. We don't never take the credit. The brother husbands don't get the credit. We just talk about the sister wives. All right, RC. Power. Shh. Remember, they get the credit. We just do what it do, like it need to be done. You know what I mean? Uh, but yeah, so like it's funny. These people are jealous because of and I hate using the word jealous because they get to turn that around and make it seem like what the he got to be jealous for, da 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 da, and then somebody's got to point out all of their accolades and everything that you have that they should be jealous about or whatever they acting jealous about or whatever. But I like to let them operate with their own tongue, right? I allow them to let them operate with their own tongue. If you're paying attention, you'll watch their operation. Their operation is simple. They'll tell you exactly what they jealous about. They'll tell you like, yeah, we're going to come over and take down your TikTok. They'll let you know right there they're jealous of it, right? They say stuff like, and you think you know about energy. You don't know about energy. I know about energy. That lets you know what they jealous about right there, right? When they say stuff like you think you know YouTube just because you build over there on TikTok, you don't know YouTube, and I'm gonna show you. When they say stuff like that, you got to be careful. These are people that might be in secret competition. If you got people in your life, like when you go get a haircut, they start saying stuff like, "Man, you got me ready to go get a haircut." If you put on a nice, piece of clothing or something, and somebody say, "Man, your shirt make me want to go change my clothes." These are people that's in secret competition with you. You got to be careful of these people. And you also got to be very careful of people who, put obstacles in your way. Okay. Some people put obstacles in your way. And right now, this is why sound is very important right now. This is why sound is very important right now because sound plays a factor on harmonic frequencies, right? This is where that harp comes in at, right? Remember, we kept on going over the relationship to Jack and the Beanstalk, and how Jack had an option to take the harp or the goose with the golden eggs. So Jack chose the goose with the golden eggs, which is a representation of materialistic things, right? And he left the harp, which is a representation of knowledge and wisdom, because the harp had all of the frequencies of the body, all of the frequencies of the vessel that messes with chakra system changing, right? So this is like the second harmonic universe moving into a higher frequency of oneself. This is why sound and vibration is so important, and what you're allowing into your vessel, right? Not from music, not from, meditating. What words are you allowing other people to pour onto you, right? Are you sitting in spaces of positivity, kindness, generosity, or are you sitting in places of misery, sadness, depression? Because the people around you are pouring words. That's why it's a spelling word, right? It's a spell that's in the word. And whether we want to believe it or not, we are all casting spells on each other when we're speaking to each other, right? We're soothsaying in some form or another. They don't want to tell you this, that we're speaking, you know, negative into each other's life. We're speaking positive into each other's life, right? That's why if I want great for myself, I got to speak great for you. I got to want great for you. That comes with attentions. See, a lot of these people are hiding their intentions behind false words. So even though they telling you on the outside, man, I wish you the best, right? Really on the inside, they really hoping negative for you, right? These are, those false pretense, right? You got to watch out for these false pretense, these intentions that are not true, not pure. Now, let's intermingle. Let's intermingle. Those who are on TikTok, come over to YouTube, Energy Atlas 111 or Energy Atlas, right? Come over to the YouTube pages. Those who on YouTube, go over to the TikTok pages. Go subscribe over there to the Energy of Atlas, right? So everybody that want to give a subscription over here, that want to donate over here, go over to the Energy of Atlas page on TikTok. You could do the same thing over there. You could subscribe to the page, and you could drop a gift or two, 1 cent. You could drop a rose for 1 cent. You hear me?
Shifting into second harmonic universe. When we energetically evolve and move up in dimensional frequency bands, we are exposed to more dimensional octaves, therefore more potential timelines. However, in the range of polarities that may exist as potential consciousness experiences, there is only one timeline that is the highest expression of our spiritual identity and that manifests the fulfillment of our heroic probability. Within the future timelines are stations of identity, commonly called soul, monad, and Christos.
It's my hat today.
Self.
You like it?
These spiritual identities comprise light body parts or whole spiritual bodies of our forgotten future selves. These are spiritual energetic bodies that hold our consciousness intelligence matrices, our mind matrices, and that make up our spiritual identity. We are designed to reclaim these spiritual energetic pieces during the ascension cycle. This is why those on the spiritual ascension path continually experience their energetic healing by meeting the cellular memories that surface for compassionate witnessing, at different stages of evolution in the multiple timelines. 1.
Some you might ask, why is this important? It's because if you haven't seen like the blood moon that just passed last month, if you wasn't paying attention to this strawberry moon that just passed, there's a lot of energies that's coming in with these moons. You feel the energy, something is changing. Sometimes you'll wake up the next day and you'll be like, man, it's like a shift in the air. It's, I can feel it. It's something different. One's in the chat. One's in the chat if you felt it before. One's in the chat if you felt that, that feeling before, like, man, something shifted, something changed, something's different. We all feel it every now and again. We might not quite be able to put our finger on it, right? We might not quite be able to put our finger on it, But for sure, we know like something changed. Something changed. And see, everybody is having a notion for this. Some people are finding different ways to get right. You know, look at Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington went from doing the movie, what was that, Gladiators, where he was kissing that guy. They got mad and cut that part out, you know, and then next thing you know, what was he doing? He was getting baptized in some more shit. You know what I mean? Look at Jaguar Wright. Shit done got so heavy around her with her truths about to be revealed. What did she do? She went and now she becoming an ordained minister, sleeping outside under the sun, under the stars, right? Sound like she back to sleeping in a knapsack, sleeping outside under the hills. And she can't say that she's out way out in the country somewhere. No, we heard the cars driving by in the background. You sleeping in somebody's backyard, ma'am. That don't sound like you either sleeping in somebody's backyard or you back to sleeping in a U-Haul or some shit. You must have went and got back in that Penske truck wherever you parked that motherfucker at. That she might. They said they never found that Penske truck. You hear me? They did say they never found that Penske truck. She might got that damn thing buried like a bunker somewhere. She went and stayed in it. She got that motherfucker in the Arizona hills, buried like a bunker. She went and stayed in the back of that Penske truck. 'Cause we heard the cars. We heard the cars in the background. You ain't out in there. We heard the cars. We heard, you know, sirens and shit. So we know you is not in no damn woods or no bear. Like, come on. She playing us now. Y'all remember back in the day where you had to sit in the kitchen with that one corded phone that was long as hell that wrapped around the whole house, and you knew who had the phone just by finding, you know, following that cord. It then went from this bedroom to that bedroom. Yeah. Y'all remember back in the day conversations when you used to listen to people, you know, actually listen to people in the background. Like, what was that in the background? Did you just close the refrigerator? Was that some pots that I heard? Y'all remember listening to people background. Stop acting like y'all don't know how to listen to people backgrounds. Y'all better start listening to the background so y'all can know what's going on. Yeah, party line type shit. You know what I'm saying? You better start listening. You hear that woman is not in no damn wilderness. She ain't in no wilderness. I ain't hear no lions, tigers, nor no bears. I ain't hear none of that shit. I heard probably she might be in a sleeping bag. I did hear like sleeping bag material. I heard that, you know what I mean? And you know, the fact of how she was laying down, it says that she's laying on a hard ass ground somewhere, you know. So she's sleeping in somebody's backyard, you know what I mean? Somebody letting her sleep on a porch or something. Somebody's like, look, you can't sleep inside because there's kids inside, and you know you sleepwalk at night. So we can't let you sleep inside because the kids sleep inside and you sleepwalk at night. So you have to sleep outside. For real. I ran across a sleepwalker like that before. For real. That whole video telling it. Everything done changed, you know. You know, everything done changed now. That was it. Everything's done changed, you know, with Minerchi and every stuff. Okay, so I don't know if anybody remember like this show called like, I think it was like what was it, like Vince Ventura, Ace Ventura, one of those Ventura something. He was telling like government secrets and stuff like that. He was telling about government secrets allegedly, right? And he was telling this story about how they found this place, not Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. This is I forget the dude name, but he used to have a show out where he was like telling the secrets of the government and everything like that. And he did a show, he did an episode where he was showing like that that they were trying to control the weather. And when trying to control the weather using these frequencies and electric, ions in the atmosphere or whatever, they stumbled across a frequency. Yeah, Jesse Ventura, that's his name. They stumbled across a frequency for the brain. And then they started trying to test that frequency to see if they can control the brain. Now, this is allegedly, for entertainment purposes only. Allegedly, they started messing with the neurons, the neutrons and the neurons in the brain and stuff like that. And this was based off of spectrums of frequency, right? Now, let's say if they was able to determine different variations of frequency that can alter, the brain, what's to say that they didn't do the same thing with the light that's coming in through the sun, right? If they blocked off certain frequencies or added certain frequencies in order to put people in certain, states of being, why wouldn't that be the same thing for the sun? If the sun is coming in and affecting your chromosomes or your DNA, but they found out a way to block that using different materials, metals, chemtrails, whatever the case may be, then we can ultimately say that if the frequency's been tampered with and the light's been tampered with, then we're not, at the prime state that we actually can be. This might answer why, the unaliving process is changing in the world based off of how it was in the biblical days, right? It seems like to scientists, it seems like mankind is shrinking, right? Now, when you think of mankind shrinking, you're not thinking of mankind shrinking or dwindling how they say it is. They're saying mankind shrinking because they're measuring the conscious of mankind, right? We are shrinking out of conscious because we are not doing anything anymore as far as our brain goes. I mean, there might be some people out there that's actually doing stuff, but we're not doing it no more collectively to where as though everyone is learning. There's more people in the world now than not enough people learning, right? So we got to put knowledge back into this world. We got to bring classes back, right? So we got to bring classes back where not only kids are interested, but adults are interested, right? People are yearning and they want a new level of learning. They want to learn something different. One's in the chat. Tell me if I'm lying. One's in the chat if you want to learn something different. I'm daring to learn. Like I want to see a different world. You know what I mean? I know. I know. I watch all the same shows that you watch. I watch all the same shows that you watch that makes me think that this is possible. I watch all of them. I watch Step by Step, right? That was a mixed family living in the same house, right? We can go back further than that, to the Brady Bunch. You know what I'm saying? Here's a story of a man named Brady. You know what I'm saying? Like we remember. We remember. So don't act like unity wasn't the key. Shit, we had the Village Boys singing YMCA telling us how we needed to unite. We not even in the it take a village type mindset anymore. You know what I mean? We had, shows back then that was telling us that we was better together. You know what I mean? We had Family Matters. We had Full House. We had Party of Six. We had Dawson's Creek. Don't act like you don't remember. We had Growing Pains. You know what I mean? We had Charles in Charge. We had Felicity. Come on. We had Charm. Come on. Y'all remember Charm? I am the sun. I am the moon. I am heaven and I need to be loved. You know what I'm saying? We had Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You know what I mean? We had some shows that you gonna sit down and watch back then. We don't got that no more. They changed up everything now. Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Come on, keep it going. Drop some names of some stuff. And make sure you get over to the TikTok page and subscribe to it. I'm just saying. Think about what I'm saying. I was Buffy had Angel spinoff that came out of that. We're gonna get back to that in the Discord. We're gonna get back to watching some of that in the Discord. You know what I mean? For real. We're gonna have episodes of Are You Afraid of the Dark in the Discord. We're gonna watch Eureka's Castle, Snorkels, go back to watching Darkwing Duck, Tailspin. For real. We're gonna go watch Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers. We're gonna go watch the Texas Avery show. Goosebumps. Hell yeah. R.L. Stein's. That book right there. When you get a goosebump book, you was reading something. When you went to the library, that's all you was searching for was a goosebump book. R.L. Stein. That's it. We're gonna watch Inspector Gadget, all of that. We taking it back. There was 3 shows back in the day that ended badly. There was always a twist to it. Tales from the Crypt was one of them. But then you had the Twilight Zone. Remember when the Twilight Zone came out? And then once the Twilight Zone came out, they came out with Outer Limits. Netflix did damn. Netflix tried to do the same thing. Netflix got that Black Mirror. That's just like the Outer Limits, Think about that. Think about that. Man, the Outer Limits was a good show. I used to stay up for hours watching that. Remember, the Outer Limits was like the first binge watch show that you can catch on a late night. They would play like 4 or 5 episodes on a late night. The Outer Limits, when they used to have like Cinemax and Cinemax and all of that stuff, that's Outer Limits started on like one of them shows, one of them channels where you can just watch it. And it had a bunch of crazy stories, Think about it. It was in the 90s. It was telling us about AI dolls and all of that stuff in the Outer Limits, houses that was going to talk to us, all of that stuff. Outer Limits was telling us all of that shit. I was like, damn. And I kept on saying, like, if they're showing us this in a movie, then they already have this in real life and they just didn't bring it out yet or something. And then sure enough, all this technology started coming out. All of this, scientists are trying to figure out how to put man's consciousness into robots. I was like, what? This is just like everything that we prepared for. For real. I thought for a minute, I was thinking I was John Connor or something. I was like, well, pretty soon they're going to send a T2 Terminator after me because I promise you, we seen this story before. You hear me? I was like, this is more than meets the eye. I started, studying about what's really on the other side of the moon, the dark side of the moon. Once you start putting all these pieces together, you realize that all of this stuff is coming, from connections to the emerald tablets. When you got the Transformers talking about the dark side of the moon, when you have the Silver Surfer, going around, and then what follows Silver Surfer is a planet eater. The planet eater comes and destroys, because they want that surfboard that the Silver Surfer is surfing on because it harnesses so much energy, so on and so forth. Like there was a lot of different things that was being put in movies and cartoons and stuff that was actually given to them from deeper books like the Emerald Tablet of Thoth and Valid Thor. Valid Thor came down and had a meeting with a bunch of government officials and so on and so forth. He was the only non-military personnel that had access to the Pentagon, so on and so forth, roughly around 1970s or 78, something like that. And he told them some stuff. Even the people who wrote like, Star Trek, the people who wrote like, let's look at The Simpsons. Why do you think The Simpsons seem to be so on point when it comes to predicting things? It's because it's in the minds of the multitude. Add what takes place with The Simpsons and how The Simpsons prediction seems to come true, and then add that to the 100 monkey theory, right? You got to base it off of the population of the people. So in order to see a great shift, more than excess amount of the population have to believe in that, or be in that state of mind in order for it to be perceived, right? The same thing that took place when Christianity came into the picture. The same thing that took place when they changed, the flat earth to the globe theory, right? Remember, there was maps, there were flat maps, right? So at one point there was just a flat map theory, right? And then they changed it to a globe theory. Not to mention all of the dates and the dates and times that was altered and changed before Constantine. Constantine came in and changed some dates and times, but there was dates and times that was changed before that, right? If you go back, there was maps that was changed. They took certain maps out of circulation and put maps in circulation. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of alteration that took place to our plane or our planet. And because the majority of the multitude believed, it started shaping the world that we perceived. So because the multitude believed that we're on a globe, we started, a fear type of uh world was created, right? So now that a new nation is being born, right? A new nation is being born in the minds of the multitude. This ain't something that's taking place outside of the vessel. This is something that's being born inside of the minds of the multitude, right? And that's something that nobody else can change. Like, we can't change that. Like, there's a shift taking place inside the minds of the multitude, and we can't change it. We can sit here and try to, fight against it, go against it, whatever the case may be, and that's cool, that's fine and dandy. But at the same time, you feel the shift taking place. A change is taking place. You feel it, it, right? So in the meantime, in between time, some of y'all get over to the TikTok Energy of Atlas and hit the subscription. I'm trying to get 10 subscribers over there. We need like 3 more people to go over there and subscribe just to get 10 before the end of the night. Just to get 10 subscribers over there before the end of the night. But however we look at this, things are changing right now. The frequency of our planet is changing. The crystals up under it is changing, right? Therefore, if those changes are taking place, then our conscious is changing also. And a lot of people are changing. And, when we're looking at this shift that's taking place, yes, we're a part of it because we're verbally changing the frequency, right? Because we're a part of it because we're verbally changing the frequency. We're using our words to put people in a different state of mind, different state of being, a higher collective of thinkers, right? So the more we create more thinkers, right? Self thinkers, think for yourself. I'm not going to think for you, but just have the ability to think for yourself. Love yourself so you can love somebody else. However you want to look at this, right? So we're creating a unity of ones, right? Where you are your own individual one, but you're one of a collective. Does that make sense? Ones in the chat, if that makes sense. The true matrix is where everybody exists in their own right, because what is always was and always will be. Once you get that, somebody's trying to block my throat chakra. Once you get that concept right there, is what is, always was, and always will be, then you realize what's the true meaning to exist, right? And how everyone has the right to exist. I can't pass it because I'm a self-toker. I'm a joker. I'm a loker. I'm a midnight smoker. Whatever that is. I don't know. I fucked that song all up. But yeah, so however you look at this, it's a collective of ones, right? It's a collective of ones, right? And this is one thing that they don't want you to realize is the level of unity when you allow people to have their own individual space in their mind, but still involve them in the collective, right? Yes, you have the right to your own hurt, your own pain, right? Your own regret, your own remorse, your own all of that, right? You have the right to all of that. You've been through that. You earned everything that came with that because you've been through it, right? But now you also have the right to, unify, right? Because we made the choices, but we don't have to keep on being judged by those choices. Yes, we did things, but we don't have to keep on, you know, yeah, Grace, leave my throat alone. You trying to find out the frequency that lives in my throat. So, however you looking at this, right? We have a chance. We do. We honestly have a chance because they'll pay attention to what we paying attention to. If y'all pay attention to this level of knowledge, if they see more people interested in this, more people interested in this level of growth, this level of love, they'll try to sell it back or mimic it. So we have to keep pushing forward with love, knowledge, laughter. We have to keep pushing forward. We have to keep showing this strong, united front. And listen, to each his own. You guys know that I don't govern no space. Like we operate, we go where we want. We sit in the Discord and do watch parties on these people, that and we watching them. They do if you support me, you can't support nobody else. If you coming over here. And that's why, listen, I'm glad that that old page is gone. I'm glad that it's gone because by that page being gone, everything that came with it is gone. The attachment that came with it, right? That whole I built your page thing, all of that came with that page, he could take that with him, right? Now it's the other way around. Now he's got to look at his actions. Now he's got to look at what he's doing, right? You need to figure out the Discord thing. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Uh yeah. Sassy, we definitely do. Are you playing the game tonight, Sassy? Because I was thinking that maybe later after I do this, after we get done with this live, maybe we can run some Power World. I'm just saying. Maybe we can run some Power World. You still gotta jump into my game and build over in my game. Your character is not going to come with a bunch of I don't know if your character comes from with a bunch of stuff from yours, but you still got to come into my server and start building in my server. However, uh, okay. So you gonna play? Okay, bet. That should be fun right there. That should be fun right there. We're gonna stream it too. We're gonna stream it on YouTube. Um, and then we also going to stream on TikTok. Remember, we got a lot of different things that we're about to look forward to doing, right? It's a lot of different things that we about to look forward to doing as far as like the TikTok pages go, the YouTube pages go. Uh sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. So as long as we can respectfully move this YouTube page around in the Discord, I mean this TikTok page. So what I want to do is I want to make a TikTok page where we all kind of of course know the password to it and know how to get into the page. And then whoever needs to use the page, you just use the page, go live on the page, do what you do, and so on and so forth. Y'all get what I'm saying? Does that make sense? I know some of y'all gonna be like, somebody's gonna steal the page, somebody's gonna steal the page. We know that's the risk that you take. We hoping that nobody wants to. We hoping that everybody operates with honesty, but we can't say that everybody's gonna do that.
Frequency following response means that if a subject hears a sound produced at a frequency which emulates one associated with the human brain, the brain will try to mimic the same frequency pattern by adjusting its brainwave output. To comprehend the problem of hidden technological mind control on the Earth plane, this is an important concept to grasp.
Now, this is easier to grasp when you think about how you were when you were a kid. This concept of frequency is easier to grasp when you think how you used to be when you were a kid. If you're introverted like I am, if you go through certain things like I do, then think about it when you were a kid. When you heard somebody do a beat on a desk when you were a kid, whether it was a 3-step, a 2-step, or right, you in your head you mimic that. right? One's in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. One's in the chat if you understand what I'm talking about. Tell me when you hear a certain tune, a beat, a scratch. Tell me you don't mimic that in your head. And you join in. And you join in. Right. That's why I say that's the frequency following a response, right? This is frequency following a response. When you hear a frequency, your brain automatically mimics this frequency like an echo, right? So when you hear something, your brain automatically puts it in a mimic mode, like echoing it back to you, right? The same way when you read text messages, right? When you read text messages, because you know the type of person that is coming from, you read it in the mind of how that person is. Think about it. How many of y'all got Asian friends or Latino friends? If your Latino friend sends you a text message, you read it as if a Latino person was saying it to you, right? If a Chinese person sent you a text message, you read it as if Asian. In your mind, you add in their accent to the damn text message. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. How y'all put accents to text messages? Somebody told me they didn't like my tone in a text message. Do you hear me? Somebody told me I don't like your tone. In a text message, they told me they didn't like my tone. Do you hear what I'm saying? Confused the hell out of me. I didn't even know what type of tone I was taking in that text message. I had to go back and read the damn text message myself. Like, I didn't know I put no tone on that. I thought that was regular font. I didn't know I put no tone on that. I thought that was regular font. I had to go back and look at the text message. I know I didn't put no all caps or no underline. I didn't put it in bulk. I didn't tone on a text message. I'm just saying. I'm just saying the world we living in is changing, okay? That's all I'm saying.
Grasp. To impact and manipulate human consciousness, all that is required is to create a complex signal, through a frequency following response, FFR, when the brain locks onto an external signal coming from the environment and the neurons begin to mirror that signal. The signal can be a carrier wave in a spectrum of frequency that is designed to create feelings of distress or trigger emotional pain. As a result, the brain chemistry alters and changes, generally plummeting the person's consciousness into a range of lower negative emotions with confused and fragmented perceptions. Large populations can be sent broadcast frequencies that are designed to incite agitation, aggression, or anxiety in specific demographic areas. Then the controllers may put out news feeds in the mainstream media to incite fear, blame, and promote sensationalism and victimization language, in order to single out certain marginalized groups for the intentional targeting. In the current mainstream news, can you spot where this exact psychological warfare tactic is happening now? This is the divide and conquer psychological warfare strategy so that humans will perceive other humans as the enemy, thereby inciting violence, rape, hostility, and criminal behaviors. It is possible to modulate signals on any electromagnetic carrier for transmitting a message into the brain to.
Now, you all right, AI? All right, chill. Damn, you going crazy. Fall back a little bit. Damn. You ain't going bananas and shit. Sitting here. Going crazy. All right. So once again, what it's saying is different frequencies could be affecting different variations of the brain that could be altering our actions to make us act the way we act. This is why I try to handle people with as much, compassion as possible, right? Because the Bible says, forgive them for they do not know, right? That's one thing that I would like to keep on telling myself in my mind is that maybe these people don't really know, right? Because you got to think about it like this. If this becomes their survival, right? If my survival is putting these stories out on the internet, right? And this is getting me my money, getting me my housing, roof over my head, so on and so forth. And I can't stop it. Not me particularly, because I never made this my survival, but for the people who did, right? Controversy selling, right? Traumatized to monetize, shock, you know, they made this their survival. Think about it. Some people are not eating until they get those cash apps that day. Thank you for the cash apps. I bought my kids this. I bought food. This is that and third, right? So this is their survival, whether we want to believe it or not. This is their survival. But what I'm saying is, we can make a greater union to where as though it doesn't have to be the way it is, right? We can make a greater union where we can actually, unify, get the proper investors, buy the land, put put the houses on the land, and then have people come live, right? We can do that. But the problem is, there's always going to be people in the group that's going to be what? Greedy, jealous, right? Why they get this much? Why they get to spend that much? Why they get more to say so? Why they get this, right? So that's what you got to eliminate. When you build in a collective of this magnitude, you got to stick it out. You got to be very observant. That's why good leadership is hard to find, because people don't observe the people that they are leading, right? When you got a good leader, it's because they're observing the strengths and the weaknesses of those who are following them, so they can utilize them properly in everything that's taking place. Right now, we're in like a virtual war, really, or a virtual battle, right? That's where all of this stuff is coming with social media and everything. Our voices are powerful. What we give our attention to right now is powerful. So if we're not spreading that of what is, good collective vibrational frequency, I want to make it so that everybody send people to the same Discord, right? But when I said that, what did people do? People started attacking the Discord. So that way people can feel discouraged from going over to the Discord, right? I don't want to be in a Discord like that, right? But I wanted to create that level of union, right? But when people start tearing down the Discord, that make other people say, I'm gonna back away from the Discord. I'm gonna leave out. And that's cool. That's fine and dandy with me. Everybody's gonna move according to how everybody moves, right? But I think right now it'd be more power in unity. One's in the chat. One's in the chat. Do you think it's more power in unity right now, or controversy? One's in the chat if it's more power in unity. Two's in the chat if it's more power in controversy. And we got these electromagnetic waves that are, changing our DNA. They did a whole study on this in 2021. They did a whole study on this. They said that, that the sun is changing our DNA, and it is altering our chromosomes. That's allowing more of certain variations of the light to alter. So look right here, it says it right here, 2021. It says it right here.
To control the perception of the conscious mind of humanity to automatically believe in the pandemic, the controller groups program a series of pestilence and fear programs into the 1D, 2D frequency areas of the subconscious layers so that they can direct the lowest frequencies targeting the dimensions above it. In the April 2021 newsletter, the GOAT Mind was discussed as a mind control program being used to control the human brain's limbic system in order to gain compliance in the controller agenda. The fabric of light and sound, or the grid, is programmed from the dimension above, where the symbol codes or mathematical programs are being placed and directed. If the controller desires to target the 3D consciousness parameter with a series of programming codes sent via extremely low frequencies, the program is inserted in the 1D, 2D spectrum in order to run the program in 3D. This is how the NAA capture human consciousness into 3D by running mind control programs throughout the planetary grid, by targeting each dimension by constructing an artificial machine or alien program in the dimensional grid that exists.
Now, see, you. This is why I gotta fall back on puff puffing. Cigarettes is hard. Good thing I don't smoke them. You can get all your propane and propane accessories from Strickland Yards. Strickland Yards, all your propane and propane accessories. No, I'm joking. Yeah, I don't smoke nicotine. I don't vape either. I do flower. But listen, I want y'all to think about this, right? Everything that we're talking about has to do with conscious. It has nothing to do with your physical body. Everything has to do with conscious. So if you realize that this is a conscious fight, then you realize that this is a battle for your mind, right? This is a battle for your mind. And I want everybody to understand this a little bit deeper. I had, I once was like going through it with inside myself, and we all went through this fight inside of ourselves. And put ones in the chat. I'm gonna share a story with y'all and put ones in the chat if this is relatable. So at one point, like my struggles was real, right? I got taken away from my mom when I was, 7. I got taken away from my dad when I was 12. I was in 8 different group homes, 3 different foster homes. Like my struggles was real. I was questioning. I was mad. I was angry, you know. You sit down with yourself and you question God, like, why me? How many of us sat down and said, why me? Because I know majority of the people that's venturing to me is the black sheep of the family. I know that the majority of people that's venturing to me is the black sheep of the family. So I know a lot of us sat down and said, why me? Right? I know a lot of us sat down and said, why me? Right? Family don't fuck with you. Friends act shady. It seems like the person who cares for you more is the stranger that don't even know you. And you sit there and you wonder, why me? I sat down and I had these moments plenty of times. And it wasn't until I started saying, why not me, that things started changing. When I started saying, why not me, my life started changing, because that's when I realized that I was strong enough. That's when I realized that the strength was in me. It wasn't on me, it was in me, right? And I started saying, why not me? Right? When I started saying, why not me, things started changing. But the reason why I bring that up is because during the times that I was in my why me phase, right? I questioned the universe. I said, the universe, I want to know you, but I don't want you to think that I'm coming to you fraudulently. You ever sit down and you tell God you want to know God, but you don't want God to think it's a trick? God, I want to know you, but I don't want you to think that just because I'm down, just because I need something, right? Sometimes the universe will respond to you. Sometimes the universe will tell you, sometimes the universe will say, I had to put you down so you can look up. Sometimes people never look up because they never get to that rock bottom. See, it's a sad reality when you know you have to hit rock bottom before you look up. A lot of people don't hit rock bottom, so they never look up. The people who have everything in this world already, they don't have a reason to call on nothing greater. They already got what they say, my bills is paid. So they don't care about disrupting your bills. They don't care about messing up your life. They don't care about your spiritual journey. They don't care about your mental health. Their bills are paid. So I say that to say, like, at one point when I was going through this, I had this real strong dream. I was studying the Bible real tough. and I was going to sleep on an empty stomach during this time that I was studying the Bible real tough. And I had this dream. In this dream, it was like a coliseum. Y'all know how those old coliseums be in the Greek times, like the gladiator coliseums, where it's like a circular and it has like an entry coming in, like a they call it the eye of a needle, but it's like an entry that comes into the coliseum, to the center of the coliseum where there's a circle at. And I had this dream that we were all standing on this coliseum, but we wasn't looking in of the Coliseum, right? It was only one entry into the Coliseum. Nobody was looking into the Coliseum. When I looked around at all the different colored tribes, because everybody had different like color tribe color strapped from their elbow arms and stuff like that. And I remember this dream vividly, even though it was about, you know, 30 something plus years ago. I remember this dream very, very vividly. As I looked around on the different pillars of the Colosseum, I noticed different colors from the rainbow, like different colors from the rainbow. Some people had green tassels hanging from their elbows. Some people had spears. Some people had swords. It was all different type of weapons, all different type of color people, but they wasn't like fighting each other. They wasn't like trying to enter the Coliseum or anything like that. It was like they were watching and waiting for something that was coming towards the Coliseum. Like they were preparing to stop whatever was trying to get in to the Coliseum. And it wasn't until many, many years later that I realized that it was my brain, right? My brain was that center. They were all placed on the dome of that, trying to stop things from getting into my brain. I didn't really understand it. I didn't really get what was happening. I was like, what is that about? But it was, they were stopping different variations of word manipulation, different variations of levels of seduction that comes in this world, different variations of demonic entities that come into your life in the form of people, places, and things, right? You wonder why your thoughts is different when you're walking in walking around Walmart compared to when you're in a car by yourself, right? If you're in a room by yourself, your thoughts are yours. They're your individual thoughts. But whenever you share your space or put yourself in other spaces, your thoughts become the space that you're in. So you're taking in other people's thoughts. You think about it. You be in Walmart, you don't know where some of them thoughts came from. I don't know where the hell that came from. Where the hell that thought came from? Why I just thought about clotheslining everybody in here for? That's because somebody in there thinking about clotheslining everybody in there. You just happen to be, empathetic and pick up on it, or you're an empath and you might have picked up on it, but somebody clotheslining people in Walmart. You know what I mean? Huh? So that's why I say you got to be careful in this world. Um, what? This is not true. Um, that's why I say you got to be careful in this world because a lot of things could be changing around us. So, you know, if things are changing around us, you want to make sure that you are, within the proper perimeter of the change, what's taking place, so on and so forth. And just paying attention to you, the direction that you want your life to go in, you know, and everything like that. So listen, y'all make sure y'all get over to Energy of Atlas and subscribe. Subscribe to the TikTok, Energy of Atlas on TikTok. Subscribe to the TikTok. Make sure y'all get over there and subscribe, right? Get over to the Discord. We got some great things coming and happening in the Discord, right? So yeah, so we got a lot of great things happening. We got to pay attention to, everything that's going on, man. Just pay attention to it. Make sure y'all get over to the Atlas family, store. Check out some of the merch. We do got some new merch over there. So before we go and play the game, because we are trying to build in different directions. So we are going to go play the game for a little bit. We got some people that's going to play the game with us. So we're going to stream this pretty decent game, try to build a little but yeah, check out the store. There's some new stuff in the store. Yes. Some new stuff in the store. Yes, it is. So you better get over there, because we're not playing no games about this. We ain't playing no games about this. Okay? So, look at these new items right here. Tell me this ain't beautiful. Easter coming up. Look at this shirt. Look at this. Sister vibes. Love is love. Look. Look at that. It's a crop top, you know what I'm saying? Little belly showing and stuff, you know what I'm saying? I'm bringing sexy back. Yeah. Wait, let me see. It say something different on the back of it. I'm trying to get it flipped. Trying to turn it over to the back of it. Look at that. Look at the back of that. Look at the back of that. Look at the front of it. Look at the back of it. Huh? Look at the front of it and look at the back of it. That thing double right there. That thing double. That thing nice right there. And look, get you a coffee mug. A stainless steel water bottle. Look at that. That'll really piss him off. That'll really piss him off. Oh, that's going to piss him off right there. That's going to piss him off right there. So, yeah. So, we're going to keep on adding new stuff to the store. We're not going to stop. The growth ain't going to stop. And we gotta put those "Don't Drake Me Neither" shirts back up too. We gotta make the "Don't Drake Me" and "Don't Drake Me Neither" for the kids. We might have to do it for pets too. We might have to do something for "Don't Drake Me." We might have to put "I Don't Want to Be Drake" for the pets. So we might have to put "Don't Drake Me" for the adults, "Don't Drake Me Neither" for the kids, and then for the pets, put "I Don't Want to Be Drake." Yeah, so we might have to do something for, don't laugh. We got to make sure that we covering all of our don't laugh. We got to make sure that we covering everything, you know what I mean? We got to make sure that we getting it on all corners, Make sure that we covering all of it, I don't want to be Drake, Drake might do something to a dog. I'm trying to told you. He might do something to a dog, man. Y'all stay out the way of these Looney Tunes, man. Y'all stay out the way of these Looney Tunes.
Lately a nigga been fighting a whole lot of demons.
Hey, I'm gonna see y'all over in the Discord. We're gonna reset the live so that way we can stream the game, and we're gonna play Power.
Emergency, I just got out of surgery.
We're streaming it on Energy Atlas on YouTube. I was gonna stream it on TikTok, but let's just build as a whole, as a collective. Let's show them how versatile we are. All right, we versatile.
But it ain't helping. My little nigga going against the grain, and that's just stressing me. I pray to God that God have mercy. I'm living a crazy life. I just shot at a nigga for talking some shit on the game. He paid the price. I was young and the rest for the money. My hunger for paper saved my life. And now she can say it tonight. If you wanna lick shit, we can get rich, kid. We can get paid tonight. Dollar bill, y'all. Everybody want the money. Everybody want this shit. Everybody want the money, but don't wanna go down. You gonna do anything to get it, but where you gonna go out there? Shit, gotta think about it. 187. Murder by You killed a nigga, you don't know if you gon' go to heaven.
Gotta chalk that shit over, dog. Real talk.
And we doing a big 420 celebration too.
Fight my demons.
We doing a big 420 celebration. We gotta get people over to the Energy and Atlas page on TikTok. Get some more subscribers over there. We're gonna push some growth over there. We're gonna push some growth over there.
Fight my demons.
All right.
Fight my demons.
For sure. For sure.
It's me against these demons.
Demons.
These demons.
You know we winning.
Whoa, I'm fighting these demons up in this ghost. I'm fighting these demons, I'm on the ropes. They came with a beam up under my coat. Get hit in the spleen if you want to smoke. That money be green, so niggas on go. I'm looking so clean, I used to be poor.
Yeah, make sure y'all get ready for that celebration, that 420 celebration. It's Easter. It's Easter.
I stand on my word and stand by the consequence. They say I'm hard, it's based for the compliment. I sing it dead, homie, other company. VMC gang, get bitch fit competent. Don't wanna hear that shit, I gotta kill that shit. Lethally militant, I can get ignorant. We not considerate, niggas do silly shit. We can get drillin' shit. QTM, don't give a fuck about a bystander. I can pull up in the Highlander. Don't take no slander. Don't take no slander. Dollar bill, y'all.
Everybody want the money, everybody want this shit.
Everybody want the money, but don't wanna go down.
You'll do anything to get it, but when you gon' go up? Shit, gotta think about it.
187.
Murder by
You killed a nigga, you don't know if you gon' go to heaven.
Gotta chalk that shit over, dog. Real talk.
Hey, fight my demons. So many demons. Me against these demons. Against these demons. Fight my demons. It's me.
Hey, y'all get over to the Discord. Holla at y'all in the Discord. Love is love. Namaste. I say salutations. So long. Remember, if nobody told you that they love you today, let me be the first and not the last to tell you that I love you.
As I saw through the rubbish, my days of thugging get slow and rugged.
Greater than reality and should be
Idolize
greater
the
than
puppies who
reality.
control the public like a
You don't
controlled
think
substance.
highly of yourself. No one else is going to think highly
Bullets in
of you.
abundance, anticipating what
You
I
are
know
the
is coming.
greatest thing down here. You, not me.
All of a sudden,
You
my
are the
past is
greatest
blurring
thing
my
down
future,
here.
son.
You, not me.
Dark
You.
and muddy, hoping for sunny. I'm still
Remember how
running.
great you are. Remember how great
Find
you are.
peace.
Remember how great you are.
Find peace.
Ashe.